Hello, everybody. I am Sean.
And I'm Amber.
And we are the couple that grills together. And today we're going to be talking keto and how we got to being keto is going to take us about 30, 45 minutes to tell you about.
Yeah.
So just as a disclaimer right off the bat, by no means do Amber and I have any kind of medical background or anything like that. We're just two people that are trying to live a healthy lifestyle because Amber and I truly, ever since we met, we do everything together. And we want to live, as I say every day, over 100 years young and in perfect health. And at some point in your life, everybody's life, you realize, hey, I got to do this, I need to do that, I got to quit drinking, I got to quit smoking, I need to lose some weight, whatever it is. And then you usually need a purpose behind that. Well, our purpose for just about everything we do is each other and Molly and Mickey, our two kids, our two Boston Terriers. That is our purpose for everything. So that's we're just sharing that with you. So there's nothing else behind it except sharing two people's journey through it all. So if you've been following us, you know that we got started on noon. If you haven't been following us, we'll tell you a little quick background about us. We love grilling. We love our meat. We got to have our meat. So when we started our weight loss journey, we knew we had to do something where we could still grill. And we grill every day.
And we knew it needed to be something that could be a lifestyle and not
Right.
a diet.
A lifestyle change, not a diet, not saying other things, buying food on TV doesn't work for some people. But I fully believe that if you're going to lose weight and keep it off, you have to change your lifestyle. So that means if you're doing something where you're buying food products from TV, you're probably going to have to do that the rest of your life to stay on that. Or you can decide to do it yourself, make the changes in your own life, and cook the food yourself, which Amber and I prefer to do because mainly Amber's a great cook, especially when it comes to the holidays. So we wanted to keep that going. So that's what got us started on. We found noon, Amber did. We got on it. It taught us a lot. It taught us how to look at food instead of just getting something to eat just because you're going to sit down and watch a movie and you're not even hungry, but you're grabbing something to eat anyway. So it taught us how to do that, and it was basically a calorie count diet. So yes, we did count calories. In keto, we're counting calories too. So as we were doing noon, doing our blogs and posting on Instagram, we had a lot of people give us ideas and stuff and a lot of times they would say, hey, try this, it's keto also. And at that time, we really didn't know what keto was.
No.
We had heard of it, but we hadn't looked into it at all and didn't know what it was. And so we just kept doing what we were doing. Well, we follow a lot of barbecuers, as most of the barbecuers do, and one of them is obviously Myron Mixon. And May came up, and you had the big barbecue contest going on in May, and we saw that he won. And Amber, I think, was reading an article.
Well, there was a release about his cookbook coming out.
A release about his cookbook coming out.
And it was a keto barbecue cookbook.
Yeah, it was a keto barbecue cookbook. And we were like, Myron Mixon doing keto. What is keto that he can be around all this barbecue and do keto? So we said, well, we're going to have to look into it. So the first thing we did was we bought his book. Amber's the reader in the family. So Amber did some reading on that, and then Amber loves doing research, and I'm glad she does because it's a huge help for us. And so she did a lot of the research on keto, and we learned that when we started seeing what keto was, and what it was about, we were like, we're practically there.
Yeah, because a lot of our choices that we made with Noom on how we wanted to spend our calories for the day were very much in line with keto, because when we started Noom, we cut out beverages that had calories. We drink water and we drink coffee.
Coffee.
And then we cut out bread. The only time that we had bread for the most part was if we were having a cheat day. Other than that, occasionally we would have a slice of bread, slice of toast with our breakfast once in a while. But we had really cut out those things. And then when we did have a cheat day, we would make desserts, and we have shared some of those with y'all in our blog. But our day-to-day life did not include bread products. It did not include beverages that had calories to them. We stuck to using our calories for being able to eat meat. And then we would bulk up our meal with low-calorie vegetables so that we could eat as much of the meat as possible, because that's what we like. We're carnivores.
Yeah. I mean, we both quit drinking. Now it's been about 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I quit smoking over a year ago. Yeah. And so those were two big lifestyle changes we made. And then, yes, we quit out sodas.
Yeah, that's been over 2 years ago.
That, believe it or not, again, that was the hardest thing.
Yes.
Versus the alcohol and the cigarettes with soda. Ever since we've been married, and now it's been over 26 years, before we started Noom, I always drank sodas. Amber would hardly ever see me drink water because I just didn't drink it. Now that's all we drink.
And I drank soda all day long.
Right.
From the time I woke up till the time I went to bed, I was drinking soda. I would throw in a little bit of water here and there, but my go-to was a can of Coke.
And I just didn't drink a whole lot of liquid that much at all. Mm-mm. Honestly, and when I did, it was a Coke. So yes, our decisions as we were doing Noom, without even knowing it, were leading us down the keto road, and we didn't even know it.
Yeah.
And it was because we'd rather have a bigger piece of steak or a bigger piece of a pork chop than waste it on bread or something like that gave us way too many calories for the day. So without even knowing it, we'd already gone down that road with keto. So when we sat down and Amber did her thorough investigations and we read about Myron Mixon and him being on keto, and then we started looking at some other people that do keto. Thank you to all the YouTubers out there and bloggers that do keto for the information. It's huge. It has changed. Keto has been a huge change for the better for us.
Yes, and we've only been doing it for about a month and a half now.
About a month and a half, and I can tell you in the month and a half, it's so much better than Noom.
For us.
I don't want to say it's better than Noom. It's different than just a calorie count diet.
Everything has to be a personal choice, and how your body reacts to things is going to dictate what is going to be the best path for you.
And everybody's body is different.
Yes.
No matter what it is, whether it's losing weight, whether it's drinking or smoking, everybody's body is different.
Now, the funny thing is, it does seem that Sean and I are so similar. We are so similar in everything.
Oh, yeah.
And
it's crazy because I lose a pound or two, Amber loses a pound or two. I mean, it's not like one of us loses 10 pounds and the other one only loses 2 pounds for a month or something. We stay right in tune the whole time.
We do. Like when we first started losing weight, one thing that we kept hearing from people is people telling me, don't get discouraged whenever he loses a lot more weight than you, because men have it a lot easier when it comes to losing weight. So I was trying to psych myself up for that, because I knew that would be difficult. But no, from the get-go, we have stayed in step with one another on our weight loss progress. It's been pretty crazy.
We are truly doing it together.
We are.
I mean, now I will tell you, and that's one thing, in any weight loss issue, and this is a message more or less for the guys out there than anything, it's hard for people to lose weight if your spouse or partner is not in there with you.
Yeah.
It's hard to get it done. It's easier if you can do it together and you're cooking meals together, and that's one reason why the couple that grills together has really been so great for us, and especially now finding keto, is because we love the grilling. All of our meals we grill every day. I mean, there's hardly any day we don't grill. And it just makes it so much easier when you're doing it together versus one person eating one meal, another person eating another meal. That makes it very hard to accomplish it. And then you also don't get to spend that time together.
Yeah. And we keep each other accountable.
We do.
Sean will tell you, I have tried every diet under the sun through the years. And Sean was never interested because, again, he always told me it can't be a diet. It has to be a lifestyle change. Whatever you do has to be something that you can see yourself doing for the rest of your life.
Now, I knew that, but don't get me wrong. I hadn't done it till now.
Right. But so I tried everything, and, I think of as going great that day until, that evening came and Sean decided to eat something that I really, really liked. And I'd fall off the wagon on the first day. So it was really, really hard. And that's why I was not successful all these years with losing weight. And then when we found New, he said, I'll do this with you, because it was something that you could eat normal food, just do it differently. And he was right there beside me from the very first day. And we were successful because we were doing it together. And on the days whenever it was hard and I was having my meltdown because, things weren't going the way that I thought they should be going when I get on the scale, I had Sean there supporting me to help me work through whatever emotions I was feeling, because losing a lot of weight is an emotional roller coaster.
It is. And we still have a way. Both of us have a ways to go to get to our goal.
Yeah.
So we're still working on it. And the biggest help will be finding that thing that makes you commit to it. Like I said, starting off the video, in our case, it's we want to live a long, healthy life and be together and be able to do things. And the keto, that's why we wanted to lose weight. But what we found out with keto is there's so much more that comes with keto besides just losing weight. I'll be the first one. So I'll say keto, if you're not sure what keto is or you haven't really gotten into it, keto is going to be hard to grasp at first. Keto is going to flip everything. So I'm 52. Everything I've known about eating has been flipped. And it is the craziest thing. That being said, once you listen and you think about the things, then you realize, hey, that makes sense.
Yes.
That makes sense. I mean, because the biggest problem in today's world is we have, in our food products, is we have way too much processed stuff. Almost everything we eat is processed in some way, shape, or form. And you got to figure out how to cut most of that out. All right. So what is keto, Amber?
Keto is a high-fat, moderate protein, low-carb diet or lifestyle.
And what would you say is the most important thing to start on first?
most important thing is you have to cut out all your sugar. And that includes, you really need to cut out the artificial sweeteners also. Just because it's calorie free does not mean that it is not having a major impact on your insulin and your glucose. And then the next thing is cutting out gluten. You have to get rid of that. And then the final thing is eliminating as many processed foods as possible. Unfortunately, our food chain today does have a lot of processed foods in it, but you really need to eliminate as many of those as possible. And that's something that, you might have to take baby steps to get to. But keto is about clean eating. Yes, you're eating a lot of fat, but you're making sure that those fats are going to be as clean as possible. The foods that you're eating are as clean as possible. One thing that we are having to adjust to, and we are taking baby steps on this, is going from when we go to the store buying the cheapest things that we can find to buying the things that are going to be the healthiest for us to eat. Whereas we've never been organic food buyers. Now we do for Molly and Nikki, but for us, we've always bought what was least expensive.
Yeah.
But now we are changing that, and we are doing that slowly because it could be a shock to your budget if you do it all at once. But if you take baby steps, it's not as noticeable. But you want to try to get as many organic things as possible. And then also, as far as your meats, you want to have meats that are as natural as possible. Grass-fed beef is what you need to strive for including, but don't let that be a make or break thing on doing keto. It's just something to strive for.
Now, one thing I will say about keto is I think anybody that wants to do keto, you need to look into it, do your own investigating, see what it's actually about. I will say I recommend watching. We watched a movie called The Magic Pill, and that is very enlightening about the low carb, high fat diets. But I would tell everybody to do in our case, we were almost there just because of what we were doing and the decisions we were making being on a calorie count diet and the fact that we cut out a bunch of this stuff already. I would say if we jumped right into keto off the bat, it would have been hard.
Yes.
We'd already cut out Cokes when we started noon, so that there's a lot of the sugars and carbs that we'd already cut out, which made it a lot easier for us on keto. Keto to me is something you need to go into slowly and start off with one thing at a time. So like the sugars. Now, one thing I will say, her saying cut out the sugars, cut out the breads and all this. It's like, well, what am I going to eat? I can tell you this, you're going to be eating great food that's better than most of the food you were probably eating, and you're not going to miss out on anything. So, because us saying cut out sugar, you still get sugar, you still get sweets. You just got to make them the correct way.
Yep. Instead of sugar, we use monk fruit for sweetening our stuff.
Part number one, cut out sugars. That's the first thing. But again, you're still going to get sugars. Monk fruit, I was shocked. It is extremely sweet.
It's very sweet. I think it's like 200 times, I could be wrong, but it's at least 200 times sweeter than regular sugar. It is extremely sweet.
I was shocked. And so to give you an idea on the sugars, you want to cut out anything you drink with sugars, in salad dressings, anything like us, we use a lot of rubs and spices. You want to cut out the ones with the sugars in them. That's not saying anything against them because we still love our meat church.
Yes. It was a sad day when I had to get rid of those
when
rubs.
we had to give up on some of those rubs, that hurt. We love our meat church rubs. But you still get it. Amber made us, so to give you an idea, Amber made us some cinnamon rolls. Oh, were they good? They were very good. So again, first thing, start with your sugars. But that being said, you're not going to miss out on sweets at all. The second thing to start on after you start going down that road, Amber, you would say?
The gluten.
The gluten. Because she has had some of the gluten-free bread. We've made some gluten-free waffles, gluten-free pancakes, and I mean, no sneezing.
No sneezing.
No sneezing.
I hardly ever sneeze anymore.
So that's not a bad thing at all. Gluten's not the best thing for you. So what's the next step, Amber?
So processed foods is the next thing. We all eat processed foods, and we eat a lot of them every single day. And keto is about getting those out of your diet. Processed foods are full of preservatives. That is the issue with processed foods.
That is the number one issue, because I mean, a lot of stuff that we don't count as processed food is processed, but it's still natural. But most of your food, you go in that grocery store and you see stuff on the labels and you're like, what is this? Why is this in there? But you got to remember, for it to sit on that shelf, anybody that knows, and I know a lot of the barbecuers know, anything that sits on a shelf has to have preservatives in it for it to be able to sit on that shelf. So that means things in there that aren't necessary for that product to taste good, but it's necessary for it to be shelf stable.
And it is crazy. Once you start reading labels, all the stuff that you see, like sugar. There are so many things that have sugar in them that the sugar is unnecessary, but it's in there because sugar does act as a preservative. There is, honestly, in my opinion, there is no reason for a sausage, unless you were trying to make a sweet sausage. There's no reason for sausage to have sugar in it. But yet, if you look at the label, the majority of sausages on the market have sugar in them.
Sugar.
We try very hard to find sausages that don't. And it's difficult.
It is.
So when we do find it, then, we definitely grab it up, but it's very hard to find it. A lot of your products like pizza sauce and stuff has sugar in it. Personally, I don't see why you've got sugar in a pizza sauce or a spaghetti sauce, because there's other ways. If you want it to have a little bit of sweetness, there's other ways to do that without having to add the sugar. That actually, for years before we ever thought of Noom or anything like that, was a big aggravation for me, because I cannot stand a sweet pizza sauce. I can't stand a sweet spaghetti sauce. But just about everything that you find has it, unless you're getting something that's going to be more expensive, like a premium specialty sauce that comes from a restaurant company or something. Other than that, it all has sugar in it.
So, in talking about labels, since I do most of the shopping, I can tell you, from going from a calorie count diet to Noom, it has been a lot easier on me to find the products that we need. I mean, because I pick up a package, I look to see if the first thing I look for is carbs. If it's got a bunch of carbs now. Once you get into keto, there's other things that can cancel out those carbs. But I look at it and I say carbs and then sugar. If it's got those two in there combined, I put it down. Especially if it's got sugar. I'm not going to buy it if it's got added sugar. If it's got natural sugar, it depends on the product.
Right.
But no added sugar. But it is a lot easier, believe it or not, to find products that are good for you. Yes, we spend a lot. We spend a little bit. I wouldn't say it's a lot. We spend a little bit more money on food products because we want it. As crazy as it sounds, we want it with less stuff in it, so it is more expensive. That being said, it is good. I can tell you to just give you an example on that, the ketchup we just tried, True Made by True Made, it was so good you could taste the best way I can describe it is you could taste the tomatoes in it. It was very good. I
Whereas
loved
normal ketchup, honestly, you're tasting the sugar and
Right.
then you taste the tomato. And this it has such a terrific tomato taste to it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of the positive things that we have seen beyond the weight loss since we started keto.
You not sneezing.
Not sneezing. But being completely honest, I have had polycystic ovary syndrome for years. And that brings with it a whole host of issues. That is the reason why Sean and I never had kids. And with that, I also have insulin resistance. And for a few years, I was on diabetes medication for the insulin resistance, even though I didn't have diabetes. And I hated the side effects from that medication. It was pretty rough on me. But I took it because we were trying to have a baby, and that was one of the things that they said could help us be able to have a baby. So I did that for a few years, and then finally, whenever we accepted that the baby just wasn't in the cards, I did go off of that medication because I was tired of the way it made me feel. But so since we have started keto, one thing that I've noticed, and Sean has noticed, is you hear that keto will make you not be hungry all the time.
Oh,
that
yeah.
you are going to be satisfied. I did not believe that part of it because I have tried things through the years where they would say that it would help with your appetite because I was always hungry, always. And I was one of those that got hangry really quick. And you did not want to see me get hangry because I could go from perfectly fine to extremely hangry in just a few seconds. And on noon, when we would eat our dinner, I was hungry all through dinner. And as soon as we were done, I'm still hungry. I was still wanting food. But because it was a calorie counting diet, I just had to tough it out. So I would tell Sean that I was literally hungry around the clock. I never felt full. And so when we started keto, within just a couple of days, that went away.
And that was something. I mean,
yeah. Because he's never seen me like
no,
that.
I've never seen her not get hungry. I mean, that's not saying anything bad about her at all. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
And the fact that in the short time we've been doing keto, the fact that it is taking care of the hunger.
Yeah, and that's not to say.
And it's taking care of the hunger in a natural way.
Yes, we're not taking anything to, control my appetite or anything. It's not there in between meals. In fact, one big thing that we noticed and are blown away by is the fact that we don't eat lunch now. We will skip lunch, we'll have our breakfast, and then we'll go on and not eat until dinner time, which is huge for me because
she could never skip lunch.
Yeah, I was always ready for my lunch.
I could because a lot of my work's outside, and when I'm hot here in Florida, when it's hot, I don't like eating at all. So it was easy for me to. But even though Amber works hard, she's in the office and she get hungry. Since we've been on keto, we've gone without lunch, and that's the first time again since I've known her.
And like today, we're filming this, and We finished eating last night before 8 o'clock. It was somewhere between 7:30 and 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
It is now 3 o'clock in the afternoon,
Yeah.
and we've had nothing to eat. So we are.
And that's not us starving ourselves by any means. When you start looking into keto and seeing what it's about and everything, you'll realize that's not us trying to starve ourselves. That means what we're doing is working.
Yeah, you do learn that you feed your body when it needs it. So intermittent fasting is a huge part of keto also.
Right.
And when I heard that part, I was like, well, that's not something that we would be getting involved in because I know that I can't skip meals.
And here we are doing it.
Yeah, so it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I've not had anything to eat since between 7:30 and 8 o'clock the night before. We've had water, we've had black coffee, and that is it. This is unheard of for me. So I'm very excited about that.
Stacked. You can whisper behind my back. You can show me how the odds are up against me all day long. But I've been through the fire and come out alive, and there's no more.
So Carolyn has done all the hard work for us through years of research. And now we know exactly what we've got to do to make that delicious cake or whatever. But she has several cookbooks out.
She's got the everyday ketogenic kitchen.
Yeah, so that is more than desserts. That's going to have breakfast, lunch, dinner items in it.
Yeah.
It's absolutely wonderful. She has, we have the dessert cookbook. It's a small one.
Easy keto desserts.
And they are easy and delicious.
Easy keto breakfast.
The Easy Keto Breakfast book is great because we do enjoy having a breakfast that's a little different than having just eggs and bacon or sausage.
And that being said, we went over 2 years without eating bacon.
That's true.
Because we were doing the calorie countdown. Yeah. So the fact that gives you an example right there, guys and girls. We went over 2 years without bacon, and now we're back on bacon. Thank you, keto. And, like I said, you can have bacon finally. But our biggest challenge coming up is what we're going to do for the holidays. Because, of course, on noon, that was just a cheat day.
Yeah.
With keto, because basically your meats and stuff we don't have to worry about. But it's how to incorporate everything else. The sweets, the breads. How are we going to have a Thanksgiving dinner on keto?
How are we going to have my famous dressing?
Yes. So we're going to get some help from Southern Keto.
Natasha Newton.
Natasha Newton. Amber's going to do her investigating, and we're going to start trying some stuff out before the holidays get here. She's got one, Southern Keto, Beyond the Basics. So yes, we're going to give those a shot. But the biggest thing is, I will say with this is find your purpose. Find the purpose that even if it's, it doesn't have to be, you may not need to lose any weight, but you just want to be healthier. Like I said, there's a ton of health benefits from keto besides just the weight loss. Actually, the weight loss is probably not the biggest health thing that comes from keto in reality. But find your purpose. In our case, again, it's living over 100 years young and in perfect health so we can do all of our stuff together like we love doing. And once you find that purpose, it'll make it a lot easier. And then do it. Guys, do it with your wife. Don't be afraid. I'm telling you. I went 2 years without bacon, and now I'm back on bacon. And that's a wonderful feeling. So you're not going to miss out on nothing. But and then just take it a step at a time, because keto's not hard, but there are big changes. It's not hard, but take it a step at a time and work yourself into it.
And I will say this, I feel like if you are going to do it, you have to go into it feeling like this is going to be a lifetime change.
Right.
Because otherwise, honestly, I my personal opinion, I don't think it would end well if you did keto for a short period of time to lose weight, and then you went back to eating carbs. And
I agree. We're not experts again, but I don't think you could do keto for a year and then get where you want and then think you can go back to normal.
Yeah.
And no,
because it's hard enough when you lose weight to keep it off once you reach your goal weight.
But the biggest thing I can say is you won't miss out on anything doing keto. You will see, in the short time we've been on it, you will see that things are actually a lot better on keto.
Yeah. And again, we're not doctors, we're not medical professionals.
No.
We are just sharing what our experience has been.
But we do love food, and I'll tell you, the food tastes better on keto. I will. I mean, because once you take out the junk and you just have the food flavor, it's a lot better.
Yeah.
A lot better. But yes, we'll be breaking it down as we go through this. People we follow that have been a big help to us, food products that we use now that we've reached out to them and they've helped us as far as we've reached out to them, making sure what's in the product so we could use it. And that's going to be a lot of fun to do. But we're having fun doing this keto thing, and
we're looking forward to making, coming up with our own recipes on things.
Yeah.
Maybe putting our twist on some of this stuff. We're really excited about the upcoming holidays because that's always a big deal for us. Christmas and Thanksgiving meals are a huge deal for us. I always put a lot of effort into those meals, and looking forward to keto-fying our Thanksgiving and our Christmas.
Yes, truly are. Truly are. It's going to be a lot of fun because I want some good dressing on my Thanksgiving. Yes, it's going to be fun. But again, so take your time doing it. You'll enjoy it. Don't try to do it all at once. And do it with somebody that can be a support for you.
Yeah.
That definitely makes it a lot better.
It does.
So let's all get on the keto. Let's do it because everything's better together.